Hello, Pisces, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. I feel like it's the first time I've really felt like it was fall today. I heard leaves flying off trees outside and a little bit of wind, and I really tried to get over losing summer because I hate to see it go. I really love fall, but I just want summer to be a little longer, especially this year. It seemed like it got cold at the end of summer. I did not enjoy that. So I finally let it go the other day and was like, okay, it's going to be fall. And today I really am trying to get into the mode. In fact, I'm going to start the fall decorating today, which will be fun. So trying to get into the season. Anyway, sorry for my little rant, Pisces. This will be your weekly reading for the week of September 7th through the 13th. And during that time, we will have a full moon that comes on the 8th. You might feel that energy, maybe the day before, also the day after. And some people can feel a little overwhelmed and anxious. There's definitely a time of heightened emotions, and some people can be snappy and irritable. I know I just get full of energy. I can't sleep. That's another thing. You may have changes in your sleeping pattern. So use that time to either, use that positive energy if you're just feeling energetic, or to practice patience and calm if you feel like it's just too much energy and it's overwhelming. So we then move into the waning gibbous energy. And of course, that's, as that light of the moon starts to fade, then it's a good time for self-reflection and rebirth, a good time to get rid of bad habits, make some positive changes. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Pisces. So as always, take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is a time for healing. Okay, let's see what the Pisces Collective has going on for the week. I'm going to take a minute here and look at what was going on. Okay. At your last few readings. So it looks like you did have a frustrating week last week, Pisces. So maybe we're getting through that, and it's time to heal. Whatever was going on for you last week that felt frustrating, I'm glad you're getting over that. All right. And Pisces, since my readings are free to you, all that I ask in return is that you hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel and helps me push me out in the algorithm, which as a new YouTuber, I do appreciate that. And thank you so much for doing that. I'll give you just a moment to do that right now. Thank you again. And if you've been a subscriber, thank you for coming back and helping me build a community here. I see you and I do appreciate you. And my fun weekly reminder this week is that you take the time to meditate. If it's not something that you normally do, it's just a good week to maybe try to still yourself, still your mind and your body, and just go within and explore. Yeah, see if you can't give that a try to work that into your routine this week. Some people are able to daily meditate. That's even a bit much for me. I'm more like a few times a week when I can settle myself down, because I'm just very hyper and it's very hard for me to do that. But I do try to do just a little bit every day, but a little deeper a few times a week. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into this reading. Pisces, September 7th through the 13th. A time for healing. All right, your overall present energy, King of Wands. So you're, in a place where you feel very passionate about something, or you're very knowledgeable about something that you are very passionate about. And you're just in a good, confident place when it comes to that thing, which is awesome. That's a great energy. Not only do you understand how how something works, but you can also kind of help with the people around you and explain to others. So you're kind of, you can be in that teaching mode, where other people want to learn from you because you're so knowledgeable about the thing that you're passionate about. Your current situation is the Three of Wands. So this could be you thinking about kind of a new venture when it comes to something you're passionate about. And it could be that, maybe you've had some success on one level and you're like, it's time to kind of branch out. I'm going to try this new thing here. This could also be a card of travel and just maybe learning something else about this thing that you're so passionate about. At the root of your situation is the 6 of Swords here. So this is also about kind of moving on, moving into the future. Of course, is that if this is a time for healing and you had a rough week last week, it could be that it is prompting you to think about the future and other things that you would like to engage in and move towards, new thoughts, new ideas. I like to point out, here's both of these cards. We're looking at the back of a person as they're moving forward. So that does appear to be your momentum this week. What is just behind us here is the Justice card. So some truth has come about, and that could have been, probably from your frustrating week last week, that maybe some truth came about that has made you kind of think, okay, I'm getting the feeling of like a false uh like a false construct, something that you thought was one way, some truth came in and it just kind of messed it up for you, right? That you were able to see things in a different light. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Hangman come out because you're looking at things from a new perspective, from a new light, now that this information has come to light. And again, that could have been what was so frustrating for you last week. What is on your mind this week is the Hermit card. So definitely going within, so not only healing, but just going within and looking for that inner wisdom. What have you just been through? What have you just learned? What truth has come about that is making you kind of look at your future in a different way and maybe change your, just make an adjustment to your trajectory, that you thought you were heading down this path this way, but you learned this thing and now you're just going to just move it a little bit. Maybe that's not exactly how it's like new information has changed how you are going to move forward in the future. And of course, I like to point out with the Hermit that the Hermit isn't thinking super long term. The Hermit's definitely going within. This is quiet, reflective time to do that kind of inner searching. And the Hermit is only that's only enough light to really light like just the next step of the Hermit. So while we're thinking about the future, we're not thinking, so far into the future. It's kind of the immediate future. The next few, maybe couple of months or something, couple of weeks, couple of months. What is just ahead of you in that couple of weeks, couple of months is an aha moment with this Ace of Swords. So you're moving towards some sort of breakthrough, some sort of truth has come about. Again, it's time for healing, and you're going to get there. If this is a healing week for you, and you're feeling the sting of whatever that was, that whatever this truth that has just come about, whatever frustration you were going through last week, allow yourself to feel those feelings, because they're in the midst of that, in the midst of something that crumbles, that you thought you knew the truth of. It's almost like I just feel like the phoenix rising out of the ashes to bring up this new sword, right? This aha moment, this mental breakthrough, which you would have never had if you didn't go through that hard part. So let yourself heal, let yourself go within this week. Again, if meditation is not something you practice, it's a great time to give that a try. It could be very helpful, especially when coming through these mental breakthroughs, which probably comes from this hermiting kind of going within mode, right? In your advice position is the High Priestess. So this tells me pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to the synchronicities of the world around you. This is a card of mystery. This is a card of things kind of in the subliminal realm. This is definitely about using your intuition to get to this Ace of Swords, right? So going within, just really, what do you think about this? What does your inner wisdom tell you about this truth that you've learned and how it's about to change things for you and move you forward in a new way? What is beyond your control this week? Oh, look, beyond your control is you're getting to where you're in a happier place. Okay, so that's beyond your control. And I think some of this work that you've been doing and this work that you will do this week, it's beyond your control, probably by the end of the week, that you're just going to feel better. You're going to feel like this new ideas come to you. You're going to feel happier and lighter. That you do kind of take that time to heal yourself this week. What is your secret desire or what you're trying to avoid? And this is some guidance here. So is it your secret desire to get some guidance? It could be why you're at a tarot reading right now and getting guidance. Like, oh, what am I doing right now? So, Tarot, it doesn't tell you what to do or what's about to happen. Nobody knows the future. Tarot is just a way of taking a little snapshot into what's going on with you at the moment and then offering you some different alternatives, right? So, is it your secret desire to seek out someone that is that can maybe guide you, and maybe more, in the spiritual and the feeling realm, and maybe the life realm as well. But this could be that you again seek out a tarot reader, maybe not just me. You might listen to a few different tarot readings and see what the different take from different readers is on. You may go to a church service where with someone there that you trust and know that can guide you in the right way. You may seek out wisdom and guidance from, maybe your parents, or maybe, just someone that that's older and wiser, that's been through something similar that you're just going through, and ask them, how did they heal themselves through it, and how, um, in what information can they give you that can be helpful. So that's either your secret desire or you're just really trying to avoid that. And that's fine either way, because you're kind of in this hermit mode and it's like, I don't want to hear from other people. I just want to work this out in my own way. I don't want advice. Okay, it's totally up to you. Either way is fine. And some of you will choose differently, but that'll be your big question of the week is, are you going to seek that out or not? In your outcome position is, yeah, 10 of swords. I'm not shocked that this is a 10 of swords because you're done. You're done thinking, and you're moving towards this happiness. Look at this is an ending with these two tens. I wouldn't be surprised next week if you show up we've got the Fool in your reading, right? Because you're done with this. You're going to you're ready to heal it, and you're ready to really, the important thing is to let it go and move on to just being happier. And I do feel like the end of your week is definitely, lighter, that, by the 12th, 13th, that you're just feeling so much lighter. You're going to do this kind of inner work and you're going to get there. What is hidden from you this week, Pisces, is the King of Cups. So, this tells me that you may not be completely in control emotionally, and that's okay. If it's a time to heal, it's also a time to feel. And so if you need to cry, if you need to be upset, and if you just let it out, let it out. That's part of the healing process. So, I feel like if that's hidden from you this week, that this is really kind of a control of your emotions, and I don't think you will have control of them because you're going to be feeling things, and that's okay. That's part of the healing process. So, let's see what the Soul Oracle deck says for Pisces, September 7th through the 13th, as they're healing. Final word for Pisces, wake up call. Okay. I mean, isn't that what every learning thing is about? So whatever you've just been through, this truth, it was a wake up call. And now you have to just kind of manage it. You have to pick up the pieces and move along and get to these endings so that you're done. We're going to put this away and not think about it anymore, but we're also going to move to a place where we're just feeling lighter and happier and happy family and happy, just happiness all around. And you had to go through this to get to that point. That's pretty much how this learning works, right? We learn, we go through it, we go through the hard stuff. It's emotional. You do the introspection, you look around to see what you've learned, you come up with new ideas, you heal, and you move on. I mean, it sounds so cut and dried. I know it's harder to go through than that. But that's really what we're here to do. It's kind of a cycle of it. All right. Self-care wisdom cards. The self-care card that comes up for you, Pisces, is speak up, which I've never had a Pisces that didn't speak up. I don't think that's hard for you. But if you avoid conflict to keep the peace, you start a war inside yourself. And for some reason, did we not have this card for you last week? I would have to go back and look, but I get the feeling that we did. So speak up. You've had this wake up call. And again, I've never met a Pisces that couldn't speak up. So I don't think that's a problem for you. Maybe it's a little tougher for some reason in this situation, but speak up, say what's on your mind, go within. Again, if you don't meditate, it's a great week for you to start. Get that healing process going. Know that you're going to be in some feelings and feeling some things as you're healing through it. Your big question is, are you going to seek some guidance this week or are you not? Are you going to do it alone? And again, either way is fine. I think you're going to arrive at the same place at the end of the week. Listen to your intuition, listen to what your heart is telling you, And by the end of the week, you're going to be done and with these thoughts, and you're going to kind of just come to a place where, oh, well, here's the obvious answer. I'm done. I'm letting it go, and I'm going to move on to a happier space. So, Pisces, thank you so much for being here with me this week. I do hope there was something that you can take away and use. If you are comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a message down below and let me know, what is it that you are healing from? What was your big frustration last week? And just let me know if you're comfortable sharing. Also, if you have any questions, of course, drop those in there. I'll be happy to answer this for you. So thank you so much for being here. If you like my reading style, of course, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps my channel, but Pisces, most importantly, it'll help you find me next week. We'll see where this story goes. So thank you so much for being here. See you next time. Bye-bye.